Hello, this is my professional standards presentation on INTASC and SPA standards. So INTASC stands for Interstate New Teachers Assessment and Support Consortium. These standards are the foundational standards all teachers should know and be familiar with when entering into the classroom as professional teachers. These provide frameworks for rubrics that teachers follow for adequate learning for students. And as we move forward, you're going to see a theme of the clay and potter. If you're a Christian, you'll know and be familiar with the idea behind this concept. And at the end, you'll understand why I decided to use the potter theme. Continued. It emphasizes the importance of how the learner is learning, because the teacher needs to be able to understand how a student is able to comprehend and utilize the information designed in the classroom. This is also developed by the Council of Chief State and School Officers, otherwise known as CCSSO. SPA, or SPA, is Specialized Professional Associations. These are a series of standards that schools must meet in order to become accredited. This is important because it shows that the school has met a certain criteria of being a professional academic school. This provides proper preparation for areas of study, and these areas of studies are specific. So if you're looking at a specific school, you have to look at the specific accreditation and where they were accredited, because if you're looking for a certain type of education or a specific area of study and they're accredited in a different area, are you sure, you're allowed to question, are you sure you're getting quality education in the area of whatever you're studying in? SPA continued. It emphasizes the importance of quality education because it gives a specific standard a school must meet in order to be accredited. And because if a school is accredited, it tells you whether or not they are invested in their education. Now, there are some schools or homeschooling groups or private schools that are not accredited, and I'm not trying to discredit them. I'm just specifying why it's important to have a quality education that's accredited. It's also created by CAEP, the Council for Accreditation of Education Preparation. Standards for INTASC. Pedagogy, the method and practice of teaching, student development, or how they grow, diverse learners, the different types of people who learn in the classroom, or the different types of learning that happens in the classroom, multiple instruction strategies, meaning different ways to approach a lesson plan and how learning can be fully and adequately given to the student. In other words, are we just teaching the same old thing the same old way, or are we attacking the lesson plan in multiple ways so that the student's able to comprehend? Because the student learns in multiple ways: seeing, hearing, and feeling. Standards for the INTASC continued. Motivation and engagement. A teacher must be enthusiastic about what they're teaching. If the teacher comes off boring, the student will feel bored in the classroom and learning will not take place. It's also essential that communication and technology are used in the classroom. Now, there are different schools who use different methods of technology, but communication is of the most importance, because if you're communicating with your student properly with energy, the student's going to take that and use it towards their learning. Technology is also important because as technology evolves, so will learning. For example, cell phones, everybody has one. That means if they're connected to the internet, there's almost an instantaneous information given out to them. So, are the schools growing with technology? Is something that we really must consider. Planning assessment. Now, assessments are essential because it tells us what the student is retaining and if the student retained it or not. This also determines whether or not the teacher must reassess the subject and come back to it. Also, what's important is the school and the community involvement. Every school has a specific type of community, whether it's a Christian community, a public school community, a nonprofit organization, whatever it may be. Every school has a community, and does that community involve the school, or vice versa? Does the school get involved with the community? And it ultimately helps the students become aware of their surroundings and develop a sense of citizenship. Goals for SPA are very different from the INTASC. The goals for SPA are continuous improvement, quality assurance, credibility, equity, and strong foundation. And this is more for the school. These are the standards held for the school, while INTASC are standards held for the teacher. It's important that the school continually improves upon itself and gives quality assurance to parents, and it's credible, and it's equity, and it gives a strong foundation to the students. How they intertwine and compare. In TASC, it's distinctive for teachers and development for students. SPA is specifically for schools to reach specific standards for students, and both are for development and quality education. These intertwine because, well, if we look at the next slide, both play an important role in the student's education. The teacher, the school, and the student all intertwine. I like to say this is kind of like a tripod. If there's a healthy school, there's a healthy teacher, which produces a healthy student. Without one, the tripod will fall. So it's important that the school has specific standards set before its teacher. And it's important that the teacher has specific standards set for their student. So this produces quality education for the student, which goes back to my analogy of the tripod. If the school is weak, maybe the student will become weak because the teacher isn't well invested. Okay? If there's not very many students, the school might be weak. Therefore, the teacher might be weak. If the teacher's weak, it's weakening the school, which will also weaken the student. So they all intertwine and work together. Both are designed for leadership and guidance. So the school is supposed to lead the teacher, and the teacher is supposed to guide the student. Both are developmental for teachers and schools. If a school is accredited, it means they reached a certain standard, and these standards therefore fall on the teachers, and the teachers therefore now have standards in which they hold up on their end for their students. It gives specific guidelines to be successful educators for schools, and it gives structure to schools and for students and teachers. Without structure, everything will fall apart. There is no solid foundation. If you build your house upon the sand, and when the storm comes, your house will fall. If you build your house upon a strong rock or a strong stone, and the storm comes, your house will stand strong. That's because the house has a strong foundation. And these specific standards provide a strong foundation for students, teachers, and schools in order for them to stand strong and provide quality education. They are both an idea of molding and shaping, and that's why I chose the idea of potter and clay, because when the potter is molding his bowl, molding his vase, or molding his pot, whatever it may be, his plate, the potter has specific standards and an idea of what he's going to make. And when he is making it, he's molding and shaping his specific item, like the bowl, plate, vase, pot, whatever it may be. The same idea needs to be applied to when you're molding and shaping students, or molding and shaping teachers, or molding and shaping schools. They all have to have a specific solid foundation in order for them to have a strong structure. Without a strong structure, like I said, you'll fall apart. In the next slide, you'll see all my references. Thank you for watching. My name is Ryan Cowdrey, and this is a presentation for Grand Canyon University. How do I pause it?